Hi there. So, I've been feeling really overwhelmed with emotions, grief, despair, hopelessness, and powerlessness lately. It's piling on from feeling down, feeling really insecure, and experiencing a lot of imposter syndrome. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about how do you deal with feelings during times of uncertainty. My name is Melissa Tele. I'm the founder of Strive With Me, which is a publication focusing on making personal development and social impact more accessible to busy people. I hope you join me in this little daily reflection. So I don't know about you, but the last few days have not been great days. I know for a lot of people, they have shared that it's comes in waves, right? You get highs, you get lows, you feel good, you feel bad. Oh, the last few days have been rough emotionally. There's just a lot going on in the world, a lot going on with me personally. And the combination of it all has been really rough on me. I think it's normal for us to feel this way. It's normal, and if anything, natural for us to feel so frustrated and so down, and unfortunately, a sense of hopelessness and powerlessness. So, with this, I've been thinking a lot of where I want to go after this period. How can I make myself feel better and focus on how to get myself through this and the people I care about through this. So, in this, I really want to talk about how do we deal with our feelings in times of uncertainty, because there's a lot of triggers right now. There's a lot of people going through so many things personally, emotionally, physically, mentally, psychologically, financially, economically. There's so many things that are coming at us from all angles. And so, how do you deal with that? Well, I can't, I don't know everything. And I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. Um, what I can do is talk about how I'm dealing with my feelings during these times. In that, I hope that it will help you manage your feelings and your sense of self and identity and sense of being. First and foremost, I've been experiencing so much anxiety lately. Light insomnia, a lot of stress, and this sense of heaviness on my chest and my brain and my emotions and my heart. And the first thing I'm learning to do, and I keep reminding myself because it is a practice, right? Personal development is a lifelong journey. And for me, that's why I refer to it as a personal development journey. You have to practice it. You have to practice it like a muscle. And so the first thing I'm doing during this time to better manage my emotion is to take a breath. Nice deep breath, because when you're anxious, you're just like tense and you're like short breath because you're like focusing on all these different things and you're stressed out and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling this tightness. It's okay. Take a deep breath and breathe out. Take another deep breath and breathe out. And I invite you to take this time to really be in the moment and allow yourself a sense of stillness in this really ridiculous time of the world we're experiencing in, honestly. There's so much that we're worried about that we forget to take care of ourselves. So first step, taking a deep breath and being in the moment helps ground you. It helps ground me. It helps makes me feel present and a little bit more still instead of just reacting and responding and freaking out and all over the place. Next, I've been really focusing on a lot of reflections lately, and a lot of this reflection, because I've been diving so deep in my personal development, I've been really focusing on reflecting and understanding my emotions and how I'm feeling. I think for a lot of us, we don't give ourselves the space to feel all the feelings, to feel how we feel. And I get it, it's a coping mechanism, right? We're defensive, we're blocking certain feelings that we don't want to acknowledge it, we don't want to face it because it's so overwhelming. That's when it's so important to try to find and create a safe space for yourself, and allow yourself to explore that. I recognize that in many ways I'm privileged. I live on my own. I live by myself, and I have that sense of silence and distance from the noise, from the screens if I'm really good, and engage with people when I can. But for me, what really helped was really reflecting on how I'm feeling and acknowledging that it is okay to feel it. Like, we are human beings, we are emotional creatures, we have these feelings, and they're not good or bad. I think we oftentimes subject them to like certain characteristics and values of being positive or negative. For me, I'm readjusting that perception, really fixing that belief system that these feelings are experiences that I am going through. They're not good or bad. Like, being sad isn't bad, being super duper happy isn't always good either, right? Really acknowledging that these emotions are both my physical and emotional ways of communication, right? I'm trying to communicate to myself, whether that's my sense of self, my identity, my being, my soul, my subconscious. I'm trying to communicate to me as a whole of what's going on, whether that's anxiety, physically, my stomach is in knots and I'm sweating and I'm like, heartbeat is faster, and I'm like stressing out and dopamine and all these chemical reactions. But really taking the time to understand them, to sit with them, to listen. I think it's important for us to listen to what our bodies, our minds, our emotions are saying. Oftentimes we ignore them because we're so busy focusing on deadlines and goals, and we're focusing on trying to reach a certain place, trying to do all these things. But the more we do that, the more we're not listening to ourselves. We're not able to give ourselves the space to heal, the ability to get in touch with ourselves and insight. So it's a really long-winded way of saying, like, really take a step back, in that groundedness, right? To reflect on how you're feeling. For me, I like to reflect in how I'm feeling right now. Whether that's a slight heaviness, a slight slowing down, a certain type of pressure and anxiety, And then also how I'm feeling about whatever the subject is, whether that's the unfortunate injustice that's happening in the world, the amount of unnecessary deaths, the pain and suffering that people are going through. Like, really reflect on how I'm feeling at whatever subject that is, and really understand why I'm feeling that way. And in step 3, I start asking myself questions. Asking myself questions like, why am I feeling this way? Is there a trigger? What is triggering me, right? Like we keep hearing and talking about this word trigger, but really understand what causes us to feel this way, what instantly snaps us into these emotions and experiences that we are enduring right now. What am I feeling amongst these triggers? Like how am I feeling when I am triggered? Acknowledging it without judgment. And I like to do that. I've been writing a lot. I've been writing in my personal development journal a lot. Just really just free flowing, acknowledging it, no judgment. I think so harsh. So I think so much we harshly judge ourselves. I'm sorry. That we're not super positive Polly or Pen, right? Pen. We're not positive sunshine all the time, and it's not healthy to be that way anyway. So just really taking a moment to acknowledge what these triggers are, how we respond, like what is it bringing out in us, and then really coming to face with, do I want to feel this way? Do I like that the color blue makes me sad? Do I like that going on social media sends me into a crippling sense of missing out, sadness, connectedness, longing, loneliness, jealousy, all of it, all the negative or positive, depending on however you're feeling. Again, sorry, I should correct it. Feelings aren't always negative and positive, but more so just acknowledging, like, do I want to feel that way? I stand corrected. I just focus on if you want to feel that way. And if you don't, what are you going to do about it, right? Like, if I'm feeling in a way that I don't want to feel, just taking the time to thinking, okay, allow myself to feel it, acknowledge it, and give myself the space to learn and listen and learn from this experience, but then reflect on moving forward. Do I want to continue feeling this way? And if not, what can we do? Because we can only focus on what we ourselves can do and the actions we take. And as much as we try, we can't so much control other people or certain circumstances. We can try to influence them the best we can, but the only person we have most control over is ourselves. Okay, so you ask those questions, and these are just examples of questions I've asked myself in times of uncertainty and in times of not feeling wonderful and my normal happier self. And then once you ask these questions, give yourself the space to acknowledge what this experience is for you. Acknowledge what these emotions are. What are they bringing, right? You don't want to just answer these questions and then ignore the feelings that is coming up or are coming up from these questions. And then once you've taken the time to really explore and experience those questions, then you can really take a moment to start thinking about what you can do and really start reflecting on, what do I want to do next? What is in my control? What can I do about it? I think oftentimes we act on our emotions, and I am so guilty of this. I am I'm learning to be less reactive and more responsive, where I'm not just simply reacting on emotions and things that are coming at me and I just like push back, or I just react back to it, but instead taking the time to be in the moment, be grounded, ask myself certain questions, allow myself to ground myself, and then choose how I wish to react, choose how I wish to move forward. Think about the outcomes and consequences that I might not have the liberty to if I'm just simply responding right away to a demand, a trigger, a experience that really affects me, right? I think by taking that time inwards first, and then giving yourself the liberty to really plan on what the next steps are and how to move forward, are you able to make not only an impact with yourself, but with your relationships, with your community, with the causes you really care about. A lot of times we react very quickly to things that upset us, and you have every right to. That being said, I know for me, I don't always get the response I want once I act too spontaneously, especially to something that upsets me. So I'm learning to be more mindful of how I'm feeling and how to react in these moments, and give myself the space and freedom to choose how I choose to respond to it. And that, in a way, is how I'm able to reclaim my sense of power, my sense of control in uncertain times, and have better management of my emotions. I know that's something that has been a struggle for me for quite a long time. I'm very much a person that wears my heart on my sleeve. And in many ways it served me. In many ways it helped me build relationships with great people. It helped me connect with great people and achieve many goals. At the same time, it has also damaged many relationships and made me lose certain opportunities and cause a lot of unwanted circumstances and consequences. So in summary, when I'm dealing with uncertain times, I look to better manage my emotions, and how I do that is through taking a breath and grounding myself in the moment, reflecting on how I'm feeling and giving myself the space to really understand and process these emotions, ask myself really hard questions, deep questions, uncomfortable questions. That's all okay. Honestly, that's kind of all I've been doing, is asking myself really uncomfortable questions and seeing how what comes up, what comes up when the dust is unsettled, and what happens. And then giving myself the space again to process after I've asked those questions, and see how I would like to move forward, and then plan on the steps to move forward and take action when I can. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this gives you some sense of clarity on what to do during uncertain times. I know thinking about this has helped me better manage my hopelessness and powerlessness, and confusion and pain and suffering. So I hope this somewhat, in any way, shape, or form, can help you. I also remind you that while you're doing this too, please, please, please be gentle with yourself. We oftentimes are so hard on ourselves. We are our biggest critic. And we judge ourselves on every little mistake, flaw, and insecurity. And what I'm learning is that making mistakes is not a bad thing. Making mistake helps me learn and grow, and I need that opportunity to learn and grow and explore and play and learn from my mistakes and learn those lessons that it was meant to teach me. Again, I hope you will be gentle with yourself. I hope you will be kind to yourself as well as others. And I hope you will keep on striving. And until next time, I hope you will strive with me. I'll see you next time. Bye. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and keep on striving.